What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dash Reacts, and today let's react to something a little bit different. So this is Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Mike Tyson on the Arsenio Hall Show back in 1990. Legendary. Absolutely legendary. All right, let's check this one out.
This is great. This is great. When you...
And sorry, just real quick, a heads up, like I'm sure it might be a little hard to understand exactly what Muhammad Ali's saying, because I know the Parkinson's is affecting him by this time in his life, but we should still be able to understand. So
you would come on television as a kid and say that you were the greatest, did you realize that one day you'd be recognized as the greatest? Did you realize the impact you would have on society?
I didn't really believe it. I had a good idea that I would.
Mm-hmm.
You were.
I did my best to achieve it.
Yeah, I mean, you were an influence on not only athletes, but you were an influence on everybody, on me. Even
Man, he was an influence on me, and he was. I wasn't I wasn't watching Ali fights. Like, he was fighting before my time. But I used to hear my uncles talk about him, hear my dad talk about him. So many people used to talk about Ali. I'm just like, man, who is this dude? And it made me want to go and research. And then you just, once you start following him and watching his old interviews, like, you're not going to stop. It's a rabbit hole you are going to go down. Because he was just, I know the Parkinson's is affecting him now, but he was just such a, like he's a handsome dude. He could fight. He just has like this way of talking that just draws you in, right? Smooth with his words. Man, he was, like, that's when you know you're legendary. You're a legend when, like, generations after you are so intrigued by you that they want to keep researching.
Is somebody you talking about?
Well,
I'm sorry. Let me go back.
Athletes.
That's the team.
Yeah, I mean, you were an influence on not only athletes, but you were an influence on everybody, on me. Even
Is somebody you talking about?
Well,
Couldn't quite hear.
when I do interviews, I say, I'm the greatest talk show host of all times. I'm pretty than Sajak. Look at me. Sajak ain't with me. Look at me. I'm greatest. I'm the greatest. The greatest of all time. Yeah. They cannot talk me. They cannot talk me. I'm the greatest. You influenced everybody. Who was your influence?
A boxer named Sugar Ray Robinson.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Really? For real? All right, see, that's dude, I'm a huge. Oh man, you see, you understand. I'm a huge martial arts, boxing, huge fan, and I don't think I've seen any of Sugar Ray Robinson's fights, but he's one that people talk about in, like, pound for pound greatest of all time. That's one name you hear all the time.
Yeah.
And Joe Louis.
Oh yeah.
Louis.
Yeah, the Brown Bomber.
I've seen some of his fights. Tough dude.
They say that some fighters are born and some fighters are created. Which were you?
Hatched.
Really? Hatched. That's kind of born, I guess.
I would say created. I wasn't born boxing.
Oh, really?
At one time, I didn't know how to box, so I learned.
Now, why did you decide to take up boxing?
Money.
Really?
Oh.
Well, I started boxing at 12 years old, and I had natural ability. So one step led to another one. The Golden Glove Championship, the Olympics, then pro.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the hardest you've ever been hit? Who threw the punch?
Ernie Shavers, say it.
Yeah, boxing.
Is he gonna say Ernie Shavers? I wonder if he's gonna say Ernie Shavers.
A guy named Ernie Schaefer.
I knew it! I knew it! All right.
They recognized him.
Yeah, he hits hard.
Hit me so hard, I drowned my kinfolks in Africa.
That's amazing. You often fought guys, and I'll be honest with you, like, say, for instance, George Foreman. I didn't think you were going to be able to beat George Foreman.
Me either.
Oh, really?
Man, y'all don't understand how much of a fan I am. These fights. It was before my time, man. But yeah, I've seen that fight so many times. Ali versus George Foreman. Man. Let me know in the comments what was your favorite, if you're familiar. If you're familiar with any of Ali's fights, what was your favorite Muhammad Ali fight?
I was nervous.
Really? What other fights made you nervous?
Sonny Liston.
Mm-hmm.
Smoking Joe Frazier.
Really?
Okay, yeah, I can imagine that.
And my first wife.
Even with the Parkinson's, he's still like sharp. Man.
What was your toughest fight?
Oh, man. Barry Dillard, The Late Show Fox. Yeah. Oh, man. Who do you like today in the fighting game?
Tyson.
Really?
Ha! Tyson in his prime. Okay, you know I'm gonna ask. You know, wait. I'll save that question. Hang on, I'll save it. You know what I'm about to ask you, but I'll save it. Hang on.
Tyson is so rugged, so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Hitting. Everybody fighting, knock him out.
Yeah. Yeah, you used to name your opponents that you'd fight and knock out. Where did you come up with the names?
When I first fought Sonny Liston, one day I just said, "You big ugly bear."
Mm-hmm.
They start promoting it. Ali fights the bear.
Yeah.
So as I would go along, I named different fighters.
Yeah.
I don't want to call no names now. If I fought you, I'd name you the Squirrel.
Squirrel. Okay.
Some people look like certain animals.
Yeah.
That's like that average. You resemble a squirrel.
Well, you know, when the greatest of all time says you a squirrel, you a squirrel. I'm gonna take a commercial and try to get a nut. We'll be right back.
Classic, man.
You've been the inspiration of a lot of people. I brought some other people, some other interviewers who
Facts.
are going to help me out because you're an inspiration to them, too. Fellas, come here for a minute.
Uh-oh. Sugar Ray Leonard and Mike Tyson. Yeah. Just seeing Muhammad Ali play jab at Mike Tyson, it just makes you think, like, what could have been. Oh, my goodness. What would have happened anyway, but, man, to have that much boxing star power in one room, those three names right there, man, those are, man.
Yeah. Now, what's wrong? Oh, this one here? He's bigger. Huh?
I'm scared of him.
You scared of this one? He's a sweetheart.
I'd be scared of him too if I had to fight him in his prime. He was a beast.
He's a real champ.
Really? I think so. Yeah, you're a real champ, man. You're a real champ. Who would have won if you fought this
Here's the
man
question.
in your prime?
That is the $1 million question. And the crowd saying Ali.
Yeah, you were a dancer. You moved.
I wasn't that powerful. I was so fast.
Uh-huh.
If he hit me, that's to be catching me.
Yeah. What would you say, Mike?
I by no means, I'm vain. I know I'm great, but can I tell you something? In this situation, every head must bow, every tongue must confess. This is the greatest of all time.
You know what I noticed though about Ali, man? He never got KO'd. I've seen him knocked down in that in the Larry Holmes fight. I think his corner stopped or whatever, but he wasn't the kind of dude who's just gonna stay on the canvas. Like he always got up. Always. Like I don't think I ever saw him get counted out. Yeah, he lost fights, but he never lost fight. Like he never finished a fight on his back. Like right? The worst one was, the one finishing in his corner, but yeah, man, like I think he always got up. He always got up. He even had a broken jaw. I think, was it Ken Norton that broke his jaw? That man, he had too much fight in him. Like, I wonder if Mike Tyson were to knock him down, if he could actually KO him. Nobody did.
He can be modest, humble, and nice. This man's great. And I don't know what would happen if he hit me.
You know, I don't believe that, because the champ is very modest, you know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
I seen him in the ring with killers. I seen him in there with killers, like Foreman, Shavers, guys that hit much harder than I.
Yeah.
And, you know, he takes these guys' greatest punches, and that's what made him such a champion. I mean, even though I heard him say he didn't believe, he must have believed, because that's why, from watching Ali, gave me the great deal of confidence and deep down inner belief, to believe there's no man in this planet could beat me. From listening to him for all those years since I was a little boy.
Yeah.
He used
So
to
cool to hear this.
make every prediction comes true, and he used to take his character and use it to reflect against his opponents, and he made them believe that he was invincible. And so, and that's my great inspiration.
Yeah.
Who do you think would have won between Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson in their primes? I really want to hear what you think in the comments. Like, here's how I think. I think Mike Tyson, I think it would have been more than one fight. I think Mike Tyson would have won the first one, maybe. But I think Ali would have come back to win the second. I just think over time, like in his early years, I don't think you could really sense this as much. But the way to get to Mike Tyson, after he started to have some hardships and things in his life, was up here. And what better fighter? Like, what fighter got into people's heads better than Ali, right? Like, I think he would have found a way to get into Mike Tyson's head as well. He was just too good at it, right? But, yeah, but how do you... It's just... I don't know how he could stop the onslaught. Like, because I don't know. Would he have KO'd Mike Tyson? It's really interesting to think about.
Yes.
It's real nice for him to pay a good compliment. But the man is great.
You think he could hit harder than Ernie Shavers?
Oh, do I think? Are you colored?
Are you colored?
Ranger's badly hurt.
Oh, yeah. His jab, dude. He had that.
You've talked extensively about how this man influenced you as a boxer. Why don't you talk to them about it?
Well, it's no big secret that I emulate Muhammad and Sugar Ray Robinson.
Sugar Ray Leonard, also one of the greats. That man has been in some epic ones too. Okay, let's see. So you had, all right. So like Roberto Duran, that was an awesome fight. Him and Tommy Hearns, and then what was his Hagler? Him and Marvin Hagler. That was and wasn't that one of like the controversial ones where it's like people thought it could have gone either way? epic, man. Also, great fighter though. Great fighter.
Because they transcended the sport of boxing. They brought entertainment to a sport that was highly criticized because of the nature of the sport. And I'd like to take this time to thank Ali because he made it possible for me and Mike to be in this position.
I don't want your hand, I want your wallet.
I want your hand, I want your wallet.
You and Stallone. If you had to name him, say for instance he were an opponent.
Come on, man.
What would his name be?
The rabbit.
The Rabbit. Rabbit 2.
Don't say that. It's TV. It's television, man. It's on television.
Yeah, rabbits are cute.
They multiply, too.
That's an interesting retort. You are a student of boxing. You study all these films. You got this stuff that you bore your friends with and make them watch and everything.
That's one thing I think people don't give Mike Tyson enough credit for. Like, Mike Tyson, man, like prime Mike Tyson knew the game like inside and out, like had studied every fighter. Because people just think, oh, he's just all power. No, that man knew boxing inside and out, man. Cuss schooled that man. Cuss D'Amato schooled that man. His trainer schooled him, man, and he probably knows it better than just about any boxer out there, right? And it's not just all power. Like a lot, you just gotta watch his fights, man, because it's not all just. He has that brute strength, of course, man, but there's nuance to it too. If you go back and watch his fights, look at his footwork when he fight. Man, I'm sorry, bro. I'm geeking out right now.
Out of all your stuff you look at with Muhammad Ali fighting, what's your favorite?
Muhammad Ali and Cleveland Williams.
Really?
That was a beautiful
Cleveland
fight,
Williams.
man. That was artistic.
It's Ali at his best. Excuse me? I wasn't even born. It was 66, wasn't it? Was it 66? It was 66 in Houston Superdome.
Yeah.
I was 10.
I wasn't born yet, I don't believe. You know what? I think a long time ago, it was in Bronx, and I was in a detention home for bad kids, right? And Muhammad came and he visited us. And this was at the time the movie The Greatest was out. So all the kids sat down and we watched the movie The Greatest. And then Ali came in. And this is a funny story. Once I saw him and I saw his impact and what kind of aura he came once he entered the room, by no means, from watching him fight, I knew I could never copy or emulate his style because he was so far advanced as far as technology and everything. You know, he was the future as far as boxing was concerned. I said, I'm going to be like him. And I meant as far as being famous, having money, and just be me, the way I am now. You know what I mean? I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be just like this guy as far as successes. I tell him this all the time. I must have been 10 years old then. And he said, God, get out of here. No one wants to hear it or anything. But if I never met him that time, I would never been the person I am now.
Now, did you actually get to talk to him?
Oh, yeah, I talked to him all the time.
Funny story, man. That's one of the best stories of my life. You know what's funny? I've actually had a chance to shake hands with Mike Tyson and Ali, but that Ali one was special. So sorry to rant, man, but I went to Morehouse College in Atlanta. That's where I graduated. And my first day of school, the very first person I meet when I walk on campus, and he's not standing anywhere else on campus but in front of my dorm, was Muhammad Ali. No cameras, no press, no nothing, no bodyguards, no nothing. This man just showed up. I'm like, and I drop all my stuff because it's like the greatest is standing in front of you, right? And then I got to shake his hand, and my sister is really pretty or whatever. So even with the Parkinson's, he's still kind of a charmer. So he starts doing magic tricks for my sister. But that was right. I shook hands, and that's one of those moments where you don't wash your hand for a little while because it's I've touched greatness, so I don't want to wash this off my hand. Man, dude.
No one wants to hear it. Get out of here, get out of here.
Yeah. No, I mean, back then at the detention
I could never get close to him because I was the bad guy or the troublemaker.
She had on brown pants, yellow shirt?
Everybody had brown pants and yellow shirt.
You remember? Oh, everybody had that. Oh, okay. That was the uniform.
No doubt.
Now, what was it about that Cleveland Williams fight that you liked?
Because you watched them, you know what I mean? That was him at marvelous physical shape. When you watch him in the later years, you know what I mean, his personality reflecting, you know what I mean, his characteristics, you know what I mean, and his character overwhelming everyone, you know what I mean, because of deep down belief. And totally manipulating the human mind at that time, and when fighters at particular times before him was just authentically tough. You hit me, and who's going to land the first blow, who's going to take it. Yeah. It's like I was saying, this authentic tough man, he's coming in, and he was just so marvelous, and he just outthinked them, and he would make them believe they were tired. He would talk to them.
A scientific approach.
It was just totally unbelievable.
That's what I told him to say.
Exactly what I
I
told
know
him to
at
say.
the time it's very hard to believe, because sometimes, you know, I guess, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm shocked right to be here with the Sugar Man and the greatest, you know what I mean?
He mentioned talking to your opponent. Did you talk to a lot of your opponents? Now, you told me this wasn't true, but Frazier claims in this videotape that they've rent that you told him that you were God or something like that. That's not true, though, right? What would you say to a Joe Frazier when you were in the ring?
You're in trouble, sucker.
Yeah, they say styles make fights. Like Joe Frazier, you know, in a lot of ways, like Joe Frazier's style kind of reminds me a little bit of Mike Tyson. Not exactly, but a little bit. I think Joe Frazier was one of Ali's hardest fights. Like I think Ali had a tougher time with Joe Frazier than he had with George Foreman. And I think they fought 3 times, right? Yeah, that's right. Because he lost it. Did he lose the first one or the second one? I can't remember. I think he lost 1-1. But yeah, Joe Frazier was a real tough one for Ali.
I'm not talking bad about Joe. This is anybody.
Yeah, but you would talk to your opponents.
I got that from a rascal named Gorgeous George.
Gorgeous George.
Gorgeous George.
Gorgeous George talked a lot of stuff.
Never won, though. He didn't win as many bouts as Ali did, though.
Yeah.
In fact, I let him talk trash by watching all this.
Really, you talk to your opponents, Ray?
Yeah, in a very subconscious manner.
Now, what do you mean by that?
No, just reverse psychology. And it didn't work with Tommy Hearns.
I can't imagine Ray talking trash. By any means, would you care for a few more of these uppercuts?
Do you talk to people, Mike? You talk to people?
Mike doesn't have to talk to nobody.
You've never talked to an opponent in the ring? You have?
Yeah, Tyrell Biggs.
Really? What'd you say to Tyrell?
In one incident, he said, wow, you're throwing elbows too? I said, you're going to die. Your elbows, you're going to die.
Yeah, that's got to be the scariest moment ever. If you're in the ring with Mike Tyson, he tells you you're going to die. Come on, man. Like, let me out of the ring, okay? Because no. Not with pride, Mike Tyson. No, sir.
You know what? It's probably our pleasure to have this moment just to tell you how bad you are, man, and just sit down and kick it with you. You are truly the greatest of all times. Muhammad Ali.
I'll clap to that. Man, this is a slippery slope, man, because it's making me want to go back and watch like old Muhammad Ali interviews, because you're still seeing that charm and stuff come through, man. But it's like just watching him on old talk shows. He just had such a way with like people and a way with the camera, and he was just so funny. And on top of that, like the best boxer of his time, or at least one of them, you know. So that's always up for debate, but you just see how much influence he had on other fighters, other boxers, other people, like MMA fighters. People, like the whole trash talk thing, I know he pulled it from Gorgeous George. He said the wrestler Gorgeous George, but he made it his own thing. And, yeah, and it was special. And here's the thing. Like, I know these posters on the wall, those are disc plates, but, yep. He's on my wall too. Like he's one of my heroes, bro. Man, Dude, Ali. I love this, man. I'm a huge fan of these old interviews and just seeing these people like show respect to each other. Really, really good stuff. If you enjoyed this reaction, please make sure to give this video a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.